What's up, disc golfers? Joe here with Joe's Disc Golf, back in the studio, or the basement. Tomato, potato, Topanga, Corey. What? Wow. I was just saying right before this started that I need to keep this on the rails, and I started talking Boy Meets World. That's just kind of how it goes. But welcome everybody back in studio. I am back from the vacation. I am back doing the stuff that I love, which, don't get me wrong, vacation was a fantastic time. Just checking my levels here. Everything seems to be going well. And headed up to Boyne Mountain, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I highly recommend if you get the chance to get out there. But welcome to Joe's Disc Golf Podcast, hosted by me, Joe. Keep things nice and simple here. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. I try to follow that as close as possible. What's up? I've got show notes here. Look at that. Ooh, show notes. I got show notes to help keep myself on track here. So, first off, if you want to follow me, if you're not following me already on Twitter and on Instagram, well, you're missing out on some high quality content of telling you when I'm live. Trying to get better about that, trying to get a little more active on the social medias and doing all that stuff. I'm also, if you're watching this on Twitch, I'm sorry. On my end, at least, it's freaking out. If you're watching this on Facebook, things seem to be going normal, and on YouTube, things seem to be going normal. Maybe you're watching this after the fact, and that would also be on YouTube. That would also be on wherever you get your podcasts, whether that is Apple, Spotify, Google. There's a whole bunch of other ones in there that are pretty small. If, your favorite podcast app does not have Joe's Disc Golf Podcast, tweet at me. Let me know which one is it, and I'll do my best to get it on there. Unless I have to pay, which I absolutely refuse to have to pay to do all that. Also, trying to get the microphone. It's kind of in the corner. Not a big deal. Whatever. I notice it, and now that I pointed it out, the rest of you will notice this for the rest of the video. Audio people, you're just kind of like, the hell is he talking about? What you talking about, Willis? So, also, you can also keep up on joesdiscgolf.com. It took me far longer than I'd care to admit. Some of it is ignorance, being ignorant, on HTML and website design and all that stuff. They do make it pretty easy. However, I do have some issues here and there. Had a long fight with hosting services trying to get my website from one place to the other, get it all set up. Got it all set up, finally up and running. Or so I thought. These struggles continue. I use a content delivery network, which in a nutshell makes the internet run faster. So instead of you going to joesdiscgolf.com in, say, Indiana, when you live in Oregon, you would actually go to a server that is far closer and far faster. That is content delivery in a nutshell. That's why Google has servers all over the world, and Amazon and everybody. So the hosting service I'm using, they partner with that, and it just isn't quite working right. But it's kind of up and going. It's slow. I apologize right now. I'm working on that problem. It's updating the DNS name servers, which is basically updating your address at the post office. But unlike the post office, this should only take 24 hours. Oh yeah, getting all those jokes in there. Post office is slow, hitting all the relevant stuff. Crazy stuff happening there. Disc Golf Healthy is coming along slowly but surely. Turns out when you go on vacation, when you have a child, when you have husbandly duties, you have to take your time and things go a little bit slower. Got a whole bunch of stuff recorded for shoulder stuff. Going to be working on elbow, wrist, forearm, knee, back, all that fun stuff. All stuff to make you a better disc golfer, because you'll be able to survive the rough terrain, throw further, throw longer, in terms of time, throw longer, and just try to get things better that way. Wow, Twitch is just sucking so hard right now. But that is what it is. I think I'd be able to adjust some of the quality on Twitch if more people followed me on Twitch. Right now there are 41 followers. I think I need either 50 or 100. So if you go ahead and hop over to twitch.tv/Joe's Disc Golf. Then go ahead, give the page a follow, and I could do that. It does absolutely nothing. I make $0 off of that. I make $0 off of YouTube. I make $0 off of anything here because I'm doing what I love. And I love to do all this stuff, all the headaches included. But Disc Golf Healthy coming along, thinking about doing maybe a bi-weekly or a monthly Disc Golf Healthy podcast. Let me know what you guys think all about health, fitness. That would be more of a content, user-based content, viewer-based content, one of those two, where you guys can ask questions and I can interact and do all that stuff. Maybe that becomes a buy me a coffee, a BMAC bonus. Who knows? I don't know. But that is the other thing I'm plugging too, buymeacoffee.com/Joe's Disc Golf. Find that out. Support the channel if you want. If not, not a big deal. It's all up to you. That's it. But without further ado, we do have to get into the sponsor, which definitely helps out with everything here. Even though I said I don't get paid for anything, we do have a sponsor. That sponsor is Log. What rolls downstairs? A loner in pairs rolls over your neighbor's dog. What's great for a snack and it fits on your back? It's Log, Log, Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's Log from Blammo. It's better than bad. It's good. Everyone wants a log. You're going to love it, Log. Come on and get your log. So there you go. You can go check out Log, the sponsor of the wooden desk. That is a throwback reference there. If you followed this channel back in the day when it was more in the beginning / I think when I also did video game news stuff. Which, that was something I loved, but not too big into where I wanted to devote that much time and passion into it. Found out that I really like listening to a few podcasts about it, thought I wanted to do it, then decided to get into disc golf. And that's where I'm at today, which, of course, as soon as I leave for vacation last week, I get a notification that I had not one, but two packages delivered. One of them contained 2 discs. One of them being the VIP PDGA approved Bear and VIP Ice. It's the Ice Bear. I got a chance to throw it a little bit today. Expect a review coming out eventually when the wind dies down and it's not hotter than hell outside. The heat index was over 100 degrees today. I threw about 5 shots between a couple discs, maybe 6 shots, and it was bad. I wanted to just die because it was so hot and humid. So the temperature was like 92, 93, heat index over 100. Yay, Midwest weather. So got the Bear out there. It flew kind of like, at least today with the way the wind was, it reminded me of a lot of the Dynamic Discs Evader, but I'm holding judgment until the end. The other disc that was in that package was my first run, Sake Bomb Slammer, which I did not get a chance to throw that. I didn't get it in my car. It is the Grand Orbit, I think. I forget. Or no, it's a Supreme plastic. I can't wait to try it out and compare it to the Lucid Slammer. This one has only been thrown a couple times, so it is basically brand new. And the Classic Slammer. So I'm curious as to what the Sake Bomb Slammer flies like. Is it going to be basically the same? Is it going to be wildly different? I don't know. It looks like they use the same mold. It feels about the same. Both the Classic and Lucid Slammer have barely been thrown. So that is that. I also thank you to the disc golfer who threw a horrendous shot, much like my horrendous shot, and I got my sparkly pink Sheriff back. Sparkle, sparkle. Very excited about that. Audio people, I'm sorry, but it is very pretty. It is a very pretty disc. You're going to have to go check out the YouTube video around timestamp, give or take. How long have I been recording? Around timestamp 9:40, give or take. Thank you to the disc golfer out there who then also left it at a bar, and the bar owner, Trouble Brewing. If you're ever in Fort Wayne, Indiana, head out to Trouble Brewing. Wow, I sound like I've had a few. Believe it or not, I have not. I did have one when I went to pick up my disc, and that was a couple hours ago. That was like 5 o'clock. It is now 9. So, yeah, that is that. I did, however, also get a notification of a shipping long before I left for vacation, but because of international shipping, it took a little while. You might notice in the just over my left-hand shoulder here, it might be your right if things are mirrored, I don't know, but it is the Loft Boreum in the alpha plastic. Look at that. That's so pretty right there. This is the gold-colored stamp. This one back here, it might end up just looking blue, but it's like blue rainbowy. It looks so pretty. It looks so very pretty. Got both of those. Now I can't even put the disc back the way it was. Close enough. Good enough for government work. All right. So I got it. I did throw it a couple times today. Like I said, it was windy. This disc is less stable than I would have predicted, if I'm being completely honest. When I threw a couple backhands, I got it to flip over and ride to the right and come back and finish. According to them, this is a 14.6 minus 1.3. I will say the lines weren't out there on the soccer field I was throwing on, but give or take, probably around 350 feet. I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't have my rangefinder with me, so I'm just guessing. 350-ish is about from where I was standing to where roughly the end is a practice soccer field, so the lines are kind of But that's roughly what I felt like I threw this on my backhand, and I was floored because I only threw a couple warm-up shots and then just ripped on it. And usually when I do that, it doesn't go well. Throwing it in a crosswind, backhand, right to left, the wind, it was all right. It flipped over. It took a while to fight back, but it did actually fight back. Then throwing it the other way, not so much. Did all right. It fought the wind more than I thought it would, to be completely honest, with the -1. And again, pretty easy flight. Ground play seems to be interesting. That's one thing I'd considered, because the interesting thing here, which it may or may not show up on camera, the rim is rounded. So normally you have a disc, and I'm going to take one that doesn't have my name and phone number on it. I don't need to dox myself. Normally, it has a hard edge, easy to grip. You can kind of see that. The Boreum is rounded, so you have to kind of adjust your grip just a little bit. And my forehands, I had to take a lot of power off of it, to be completely honest. I let this go with a full rip, and it turned into a very long roller, if I'm being completely honest. Very, very long roller that did not end up rolling very well. When I say long roller, I mean it took a while to get down, and then it rolled. However, it was very interesting when I had the wind at my back and I could kind of control it, take some power off. I took a fair bit of power off. So instead of throwing, say, 95% of full power, I was throwing maybe 75 and actually getting it out much further than I thought, maybe 350-ish as well. I get a lot more torque on my forehand. I get a lot more power into my forehand. So that is where that is. All my PRs, my personal records for distance are forehand, and they're significantly further than my backhand by generally 40 feet, I want to say. So the fact that this was going that far with, maybe it was even less than 75%, but either way, far less power than distance I got. I'll be curious with this disc once I finally get it out there, finally get the weather to cooperate, and get my camera out there, track it, do some Adobe After Effects wizardry with the follow the flight, because Ace Trace is a great app. And so when I say I don't like it, and I don't think it does a good job for what I need, for taking a cool, quick video with your phone, it does a fantastic job. For getting in there and being able to adjust and do crazy amounts of things, that's just something your phone can't do. Just no app on your phone can do that. And that's why Adobe After Effects is a thing. And I barely scratched the surface with that. But that is kind of how that is going. So, Boyne Mountain disc golf course. I think it was the Cold Springs course on Boyne Mountain in Boyne Falls, Michigan. They really got creative with the naming out there. Awesome stuff out there. Played that, talked about that with the last podcast where I talked to you in the dark, literally in the dark. It was so much fun. My in-laws got to witness and joke around with me about that. Had some interesting questions from the in-laws, just saying like, "Oh, hey, that was kind of interesting what you're doing out there." I was like, "Yep, no need to pretend, it's fine." They kind of asked me like, "Oh, so how does that all work?" I was like, "Well, I just talk for quite a while, and apparently people want to listen to me for whatever reason." But c'est la vie. Getting out there, doing that. By the third time I played the round, so I played a round, wanted to record it, wanted to play a blind course, and realized I forgot my microphone. Tried to record it from just my phone. That did not go well. You could hardly hear anything. It was just not good, and not good at all. So I recorded my second round, where I believe I shot somewhere around a 10 down, I think. 9 or 10 down, somewhere in there. And that worked out. That was so much fun. It was kind of nice to play the course the second time and have a better idea of where to throw it. Then came round number 3, and I was feeling it. I was dialed. I had so much fun. I wish I had my camera and tripod and all that stuff with me, because I shot out of my mind. I birdied hole 1, which was a struggle. I tried to forehand it and decided, why the hell not? I will take my trespass and do a slight little turnover, and I parked it. Well, not necessarily parked it, but I was within 20. And that felt like parking it, considering every other attempt before that was like 100 feet. So, yeah, there is that. That was fun. Ended up going 3 down, according to UDisc. I will pull that up right now. I believe in the front 9, I went 3 down, which was pretty good. 4 down. I went 4 down in the front 9. Ended up going 8 down in the back 9. I hit 8 of 9 birdies. The one hole I did not get was the 160-foot straight shot. I just dirted it, and it was bad. I was just like, are you kidding me? Is this real life right now? Is this the easiest hole? Yeah, it's a bit of a tunnel, but it's a pretty wide tunnel, and it's like 160 feet. My first 2 throws there were essentially ace runs. They came in basket height, just a couple feet off to the right. And this time I was in circle 2. I'll say that. It was not good. It was not good at all. Ended up with the course record as it stands as of today, June 16th, 2022. I will double check that right there with this card. I want to view the leaderboard at a 44 down, and that is the all-time record. Sorry, dude, that had a 45 down. I also shot a 48 on the first day, and I believe I shot like a 47 or 45, 47, 46, somewhere in there, which would take either the 5th or the 3rd spot. So I currently hold the 1st and 6th spot. So that was actually pretty fun. That was a ton of fun. I highly recommend you play it. I'm guessing not a lot of people play that course and record it on UDisc. So there have been 80 different people, give or take, recorded rounds there. So it's not that impressive. I know I left a bunch out there, and I'm sure if there's a local person up there who played more, ran into a handful of local guys, and they look like they're having the time of their lives. They also look like they're drunk off their asses, but they're having a blast. And I kind of wish I could have hung around and drank and played with them, to be completely honest, but that was great. I'd never played a course with so much elevation, all downhill, some across, so kind of flat-ish, but generally here in Indiana, if you're going up a 15-foot hill, 20-foot hill, that's a big hill. I was going down. I walked up. I think I mentioned this on the other podcast. I walked up to a hole 410 feet. I was like, all right, I need to give this a full rip, and I should get there. It has to be a backhand. I know it's a bit downhill, but I should be able to get there. I blow past that by like 60, 70 feet. It was rough. Not used to that downhill. Then I was able to dial it in. I went from throwing a trespass and blowing past the basket to throwing an escape, a fairway driver, middle of the pack fairway driver. And yeah, that was that. The nice thing was there wasn't a lot of wind. I did take advantage of the power forehand for hole 18. There is a mandatory where you have to go to the left. If you're throwing a backhand, you have to throw some kind of Anheuser shot. If you're throwing a forehand, you just throw like you normally would, and the mando means nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. We do have a question here from the disc golf photography guy. Hey, I actually said it right on the first try. Nailed it. Go me. Will you be covering anything about the PDGA Global Board of Directors election in July? I believe that stuff has all been announced, so I plan on talking about it, looking into it. I know last year the disc golf guy interviewed everyone. Going to try to reach out, see if anybody will even respond. Who knows? As I've mentioned, I did not run this year because of some family stuff that has come up, and I don't believe I'd have enough time to devote to any of those positions. I believe they're a big enough time commitment where I didn't want to show up and just be like, hey, what up? I'm just here. I'm not going to do anything. I actually want to be a voice of reason, a voice from the outside, and a far younger voice. I haven't looked at the crop of people who have signed up to run. I don't know, but generally speaking, it has been an older crowd, and I think we need some young blood in there. At least younger blood. I believe, as I mentioned, most of the board of directors could be my parents and or grandparents. What up, Uncle, Grandpa, Dad? Yes. But I plan to do that. I plan to look more into that. I have a little more time this summer. I kind of know what to expect this summer. Last year, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I definitely plan on covering that. And at least picking through, if nothing else, picking through any interviews out there and going through and just kind of going, all right, so this is who this person is. This is who this person is. This is what they think. This is whatever. Try to give a factual, like XYZ. Here is, they believe this. They believe every basket should be a marksman and everybody should only throw putters and this. And then give you my opinion. Like, oh, that's a pretty terrible idea. And really, putters only? Okay. I'm just making crap up, but just trying to illustrate, like, here are the facts. This is what this person wants to do. That is that. And speaking of baskets, did anybody watch the Silver Series Beaver State Fling? Because holy baskets, Batman. Yep, that's what happened. Holy baskets. Because the baskets do have some holes in them, and they are actually well regulated in terms of what the PDGA will and won't approve. Generally speaking, though, you don't want to have a hole in the bottom of your basket that's big enough to fit a disc through it, as Corey Ellis found out this weekend for was it a par save? He ended up with a bogey, or was it a bogey run? And it was, I forget what it was off the top of my head. Either way, he putts, hits dead center chains, drops into the basket, and then out of the basket, through the bottom of the basket. This wasn't a slide through. This wasn't a spit out. This wasn't him hitting the band, hitting the cage, any of that kind of fun stuff. This was not a spit out. This was a poop out. The basket took a dump all over Corey Ellis, and you could actually see the reaction. I believe it was Small Bore Disc Golf has that video up there, and it was absolutely ridiculous. You see him putt. He sees it hits the chain. He goes down to pick it up, and he walks up, and you hear him go, what? So he ended up having to take a stroke on that because of the basket. I would have been like looking at the rest of the card going, seriously? Is it like, really? Is this a thing? Like, card decision here. Yeah, it's live, but screw those people. Like, I think everybody's going to be on my side. That was a load of poop. So he had to tap out, and he drops it basically in the same spot, and it stays in this time. Come to find out later that the Innova disc catcher, I believe it's Innova. I know they're Innova baskets. I think they're disc catchers. The basket had sustained some damage, vandalism, wear and tear, course just beating the crap out of it. I don't know. And one of the local guys welded it back together. However, they didn't do it right. I don't know how this falls into the rules because the PDGA regulates the discs and then also regulates the targets, the baskets, and says what is approved and what isn't, how many chains a certain basket has to have, the spacing on the gaps for the sides and the bottom. They all have to have, they're within certain specs, which is awesome. However, this time, I think that the DGPT, the PDGA, the local hosts all learned something very important, is that if you try to repair a basket, and I totally understand, those things are crazy expensive. They're over $500 a piece now. And I can only imagine with the price of everything going up with supply chain and steel and whatever, that $500 is probably going to be a steal here shortly. But with that being said, and the DGPT, a Silver Series coming through town, you should have, just made sure that basket was up to snuff or replace it, swap it out with one of the practice baskets. Those are at least at all the courses here in Fort Wayne, the practice basket is the same as any of the other baskets. And so I don't know why they couldn't have swapped it out. They probably didn't think that was a problem. To my knowledge, this is the first time this has happened. Congratulations, Corey Ellis, on that one for making Pro Tour history. That was kind of like a what the hell's going on? Another what the hell is going on? I have not been keeping up with the Silver Series for the most part. There have been some Silver Series that were not well attended. I had other things going on. Watched post-produced well after the fact. Tried to watch it while I was on vacation. I was like, okay, cool. First round's on Friday. Looked on Saturday. Could not find coverage until Sunday. And then round 2 was out and then live. And so I didn't watch anything. Again, I don't pay for Disc Golf Network subscription because of the whole incident that happened at Champions Cup. And I will still wait for an apology to all involved. So far, have not heard it. Again, if you know anything that I don't, I am one person. So please send me a video, a link, whatever. I don't care if it's actually happened. I will gladly start giving them money again. But until that point, I will not be giving them my hard-earned dollars. At this point, hard-earned pennies. However, so I did not watch that. I was going to watch the post-produced stuff. And I was like, all right, okay. And it's just not up, and it's not up, and it's not up. And one of the guys from, I think it was Hunter from Foundation, made a tweet about it, made a post about it. And people were commenting back going, first Silver Series, huh? So if you're going to do this, if you're going to do your own post-produced stuff, you got to at least make it up to industry standard. You have to get it out. You have to get it out on time. You have to get it out in a timely fashion. I get it. Things are going to be weird. I live in the Eastern time zone. They were on the West Coast in the Western time zone. So I get that there's a huge time difference. But the fact that I had to wait until basically the final round was going was absolutely insane. So I think there's some lessons to be learned there. Either let the post-produced companies do it on their own or get up to snuff. Improve your workflow. Find out where your hiccups are. Is it in editing? Is it in exporting? Is it in the commentary? Is it in getting all that together after? Is it the final product where, yes, you've edited down the shots. Now you've got the commentary. Are you editing that all together again? What's your deal? What's going on here? As someone who makes YouTube videos, I know how long it takes for me to edit and upload a video. I'm one person who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. My videos are not nearly as complex. I've been working on my putter only round, and I want to say I've maybe put 2 hours worth of work into it, and I have the front 9 taken care of. Granted, that is just me, one person, not multiple cameras. However, I figured it out in a couple hours. I'm pretty sure someone who does this for a living can figure it out a little bit faster. And if they can't, you should find someone who can, because clearly Jomez has figured it out. Gatekeepers figured it out. Central Coast. The list goes on. Everybody. GK Pro. I always, for whatever reason, side note, tangent, I always conflate GK and Gatekeeper. I don't know why. I think it's because the G and the K, probably. But I know they're two different companies. And for whatever reason, my brain goes, two company, what? A little bit of drool starts coming out. I don't even know. Anyway, that's kind of that. Drew Gibson made a post about the basket situation, saying that he's been fighting for years with the DGPT to come up with a solution, basically sell the basket sponsorship. You know, basketball sells the basketball. It's Wilson right now, I believe, or it's Spalding. I don't know. Somebody, who cares? Same thing. Baseball sells the baseball, and they're sponsored by whoever, Wilson. I don't know. I don't even pay attention anymore. Either way, you get what I'm saying. Every other sport has sold their implement. Like when it's a basketball, volleyball, baseball, whatever, it's a standardized equipment. I get that you're not going to do that for the discs. But the baskets, you could just go, all right, open call right now. We need 36, we'll say 60 baskets, depending on how many courses. We'll say we'll account for 3 different courses. So you need 18, 36, 54 baskets. Plus you want some practice baskets. Plus you want some extras just in case. Let's say 72 baskets. Let's call it an even 100. I don't know. All right. Open call right now. Who wants to be the official basket of the Disc Golf Pro Tour? All right. We'll start the bidding at whatever. You give us all the baskets, and then wherever we go, you're always going to be playing on veterans or disc catchers or black holes. I forget. Is that black hole? MVP baskets, prodigy baskets, whatever. Whoever. Does not matter. And you could just slap your logo on the band. You know, you could slap your logo on the odd number bands, and we will sell the even number bands, you know. So that way, hole 1, everybody's teeing off to the Dynamic Discs Veteran Basket, or the Innova Disc Catcher, or Discraft whatever, or DGA, or whatever, whoever. Again, like I said, does not matter. But then you have a standard basket. You bring them all in. The players can't use that as an excuse anymore. It's like, well, I didn't know how to throw to this basket or that basket or whatever. Yes, I understand that some of those baskets have nuance, but you know, whatever. If you know that for the next 2-3 years, you're putting on the exact same basket, you bet your bottom dollar that every single one of those pros will put it in their contract or get a hold of, spend the money themselves to buy that basket to practice on and know exactly where you can and can't hit. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So that would cut down on some of those issues that they're having there. Now, unfortunately, my Joe's Disc Golf website seems to be having riding the struggle bus a little bit here. So we'll see if I could get this article loaded. Again, changing the name, the DNS server. Ooh, seems to be back up. So, wrote an article today. That's not when that posted, but whatever. We'll run with it. The Disc Golf Match Play is happening this weekend. In fact, when you listen to this podcast, when it comes out, it will be starting already. Yeah, already. It'll have been going on. You'll have missed a few matches, but that is okay. The article is the 2022 DGPT Match Play Championship. A flop in the making, ? And I had a very clever little graphic there of a man slipping on, well, actually it's the DGPT logo, slipping on a banana peel. And here's what it is. Well, let's go over the basics here first. It is match play, 12 holes. There are 32 possible participants, 16 men, 16 women. 16 will enter, only one will exit with money. a lot of money. We don't know how much money exactly. However, it seems that they're going to be following the same deal that they had last year, where the players get paid to show up. They also get paid based on how well they finish. So if you make it to the finals, semifinals, you get, guaranteed X amount. If you are the champion, you get whatever. I had to look this up because I completely forgot about this last year, and they're like, oh yeah, last year. I was like, oh yeah, last year. They did this last year. So last year was kind of forgettable. This year's probably also forgettable, and it hasn't even happened yet. I feel bad for the pros who are attending. I think this might be, don't quote me on this, I think this might be one of the free options that's out there. So this might be one of your free ones that you get as a PDGA member. Look that up. I believe you get the majors and the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. I thought this was included. I can't remember off the top of my head. I am a one-man show here, one-man producer, one-man everything. So the numbers might actually be a bit higher than what is expected, to say the least. However, that is kind of expected, I guess. What is going on here? Is this even going out live? It should be. Connection is poor. Your face is poor. And I can't monitor my stream right now. Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know if people are watching here. Anyway, I'm trying to get this all worked out now. But yeah, like I said, one-man show here. So we have 16 people showing up, 16 men, 16 women. The players are broken into pools. You play the pool play. You play 2 different matches. If you win, you get 3 points. If you tie, you get 1 point. If you lose, you get a pat on the back and a hearty handshake is basically what you get. But that is that. So they'll play, the 2 finalists will end up playing a total of 36 holes. So 2 rounds in a normal weekend. This is basically who's going to be able to do match play the best. A ton of people not showing up, as I said. The biggest problem here is, well, it's probably not going to do well because of the lack of top-level names. Now, on the FPO side, it'll be interesting. You have Valerie Mondahano, Emily Beach, Maria Oliva, Vanessa Van Dyken, Missy Gannon, Alexis Mondahano, Holland Handley, Rebecca Cott, Kat Murch, Owen Scoggins, Lisa Fakis, Haley King, Ella Hansen, Sarah Hokum, Natalie Ryan, and Jennifer Allen. You might have noticed a few top names not in there. Those include the number 1 rated, and this is just Pro Tour standing points. So the number 1, Kristen Tatar, the number 2, Paige Pierce, the number 3, Katrina Allen, the number 17, Jessica Weiss, and the number 19, Kona Panis. What do some of these women have in common? Boatloads of cash. Last year's winners, Paige Pierce and Kelvin Heiberg, took home 10 grand. Kona and Kristen are guaranteed to have $125,000 this year. Guaranteed. That's what they're taking home, not including any other winnings, not including any disc sales, not including any other outside sponsorships. Their title sponsors give them $125,000 a year. If it's, equal, they get $500,000 over 4 years. Paige Pierce, we don't know what she's making, but safe to say she's making, at the very minimum, the same as Kona and Kristen Tatar. Jessica Weiss, who knows exactly, but definitely a decent amount of money. Now, some people have stated that, it's to help my body recover. It's to help this, it's that. I think part of the reason is money. It's hard. It's in the middle of the season. It's not a great time, and it's not a great location. This is being held in Bailey, Colorado at the Bailey Disc Golf Course, which I have nothing against the Bailey Disc Golf Course or Bailey, Colorado. When I say it's a poor location, they're driving from roughly Portland to roughly Minneapolis. Somewhere down there, you have to take into account that you're stopping in Bailey, Colorado. The drive alone from Portland to Clearwater, Minnesota, I almost said Michigan. That's not right. There is a Clearwater, Michigan, but not where this tournament is playing, not where the preserve is a 25-hour rough roughly 25-hour drive according to Google Maps. Taking a detour to Bailey, Colorado adds at least 8 hours. So those who want to take their time and get out there, that's not really an option because you have 1 week to get there, 1 week to get over. Not that great. You can't get extra play. That's not ideal. The price of gas, not ideal. The fact that they do actually need time to recover their bodies. Most of these players are not used to playing this many tournaments in a row. And you can see that with the injuries starting to pile up. So there's that. Okay, I get it, YouTube. Shut up. YouTube, you ignorant lady of the evening. So there's that. On the MPO side, we also have a much more noticeable lack of top-tier talent. No offense to the men and women who are actually playing it, but here we have to the people who are playing it. We have Calvin Heimberg, Aaron Gossage, Mason Ford, Anthony Barella, Gannon Burr, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderhold, Jeremy Colling, James Conrad, Nico LaCastro, Kyle Klein, Alden Harris, Joel Freeman, Kevin Jones, Luke Humphreys, and Chandler Fry. You notice there are some big, heavy hitters not present there from the MPO either. Those would include number 1, Ricky Wysocki, number 3, Chris Dickerson, number 5, Paul Macbeth, number 9, Drew Gibson, number 11, Matty O, number 14, Emerson Keith, number 16, Chris Clemens, 18, Corey Ellis, 21, Thomas Gilbert, and number 25, Casey White. Remember, this is the top 16, and they had to, Casey White, number 25, turned it down. 25. That is crazy. So, as I kind of mentioned with the women, the men, same thing. Some of the guys are coming off of injuries. They're trying to rest and recover. I believe Paul Macbeth has a Macbeth Foundation thing going on, so he wasn't going to come anyway. He basically also was like, All-Star event. That was poor planning. You guys didn't tell me about it until after I picked a vacation. Not that I think he would have gone anyway, but it doesn't matter. As I mentioned before, money, probably a big factor in that. Time. You have to now bust your butt to get from Beaver State Fling, if you played it. A lot of these people did. You have to bust your butt to get to Colorado to play a little bit. Fortunately, there's only 12 holes, so not as much practice is needed. But then you have to do all the media crap and do all that stuff and interviews and have fun and then play that. That's going to take 2 days. That is Friday, Saturday. And then you have to bust your butt over to Clearwater, Minnesota to be able to get over and play and practice the Preserve because that's coming up. And guess what? You're probably going to make a nice chunk of change there. Plus, it's an elite series. There's points on the line. You had to drive. This is poor planning. How do you fix this? How do you fix this issue? How do you fix this poor attendance issue? Number 1, Kristen Tatar is not going to come back. She is not coming back until, I believe, USW DGC in a couple weeks here. I think that was the rumor. I think that's what it was. I don't know if that's still the plan or not. You know, I'm not besties with Kristen Tatar or really any pros at all. So thanks, guys, but whatever. I'm still here. I'm a person too. Please be my friends. Whatever. Anyway, as I've said before, it's being friends jades the media. And I think having people like myself, I'm not the only one, but other YouTube channels and podcasts about disc golf who have no connection to the pros can honestly talk about whatever. So I forget even what I was talking about. Oh yeah, Kristen Tatar isn't going to come from Estonia here, play this, go back home, and then come back in a couple weeks. It makes zero sense. Ricky Wysocki still coming off that knee injury. Paul Macbeth's got a foundation thing. And the other guys are just like, it ain't worth it. So what they really need to do to fix this is put this within, maybe not have it at the Preserve or come up with a temporary course at the Preserve. Find a course within an hour or two of the Preserve. And guess what? I bet you this attendance goes through the roof. Because if you're driving all the way, it's a great little stop. It's a great little puff piece. It's a great little content thing for all those people who have the social media, the YouTube channel, and all that stuff. Trust me, guys, you got to work the hustle. Hustle, 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 baby. What up? And you got to do that. You got to make it easier for these guys to attend. That's pretty much what it is. That's kind of what's going on there. So, just gonna just dropping a line in the Discord server, which you can find in the Linktree, which is down below. Just trying to see how that's going, and make sure everything is up and running. Because I think I'm having some issues here. Not sure. For those of you on audio and listening post-produced, you don't give a flying flip about this. But yeah, that's just kind of how that's going. Anyway, if you want to chat, we have a Discord server. You can head over to the Linktree and find the Discord server. I believe you can also search it. It is titled Joe's Disc Golf. I know. Joe's Disc Golf Discord, because, keep it simple, stupid. So we got that. Cool. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on the Discord, on YouTube comments. I do a good job of replying to those comments. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter. You can send me DMs. You can slide into the DMs, yo. All nice and cool like that. You can also just tweet at me at Joe's Disc Golf. You can head over to joesdiscgolf.com. That seems to be up and running again. Thank you, Cloudflare. You've been a godsend here. Thank you, Hostinger, for hosting Joe's Disc Golf. If you want to get a discount, go ahead and follow the link in the description below, and you could get a sweet discount. That's that. I believe that is everything. So unless I hear anything, any other questions, comments, concerns, screams of pain, who knows? I don't know, but I think this is a great place to end it. So thank you all for watching. As always, if you get a great tree kick back into the fairway, then don't forget to thank Treesus. If you get kicked deeper into the woods, well, you need to reflect and repent, because you have transgressed against Treesus. As always, I've been Joe. You've been awesome, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.